My name's Richard Hatcher, and I'm back again with my friend Mick Waters.
Hi, guys.
We thought we'd talk today about how do you stay grounded in a noisy world. I thought that was a really interesting concept.
Yeah, I thought we'd do a bit of a palate cleanser. The world's chaotic. We have World War III trying to creep around the corner. We've got this geopolitical struggle. We've got social media. We've got AI.
It's all out there. We also have a live studio audience, which is important to note.
That's right.
Our first and probably our only. But yeah, from a personal perspective, we both work day jobs. We're getting it done. You've got a family. How do you try and stay calm? How do you try and stay grounded amid the chaos?
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of news out there. I've been indulging in it too much. It hasn't done me much good. I just feel exhausted and exasperated and confused. How do you manage?
Yeah, I don't always manage. I think I succumb to doom scrolling like a lot of people. And there's so much of the world that's now geared towards holding your attention and keeping your attention and keeping that attention at some superficial surface level. And so, I get stuck in scrolling on Instagram for no reason, which is funny. You can find some funny stuff. But grounding is definitely so important, just to step back from the noise, try to get your brain rhythms in a stable state.
So how do you do it?
How do I do it?
What's the Mick Waters strategy?
Yeah, so I've got a couple methods. I mean, there's always the basic one of trying to live in the moment. I've got kids, and I do get frustrated with them, but the best times is when I can really enjoy spending time with my kids and my wife. That's definitely one way that works for me. Also reading. I love to read. I love to go down there's good and bad rabbit holes. There's a rabbit hole of disappearing down a Twitter battle with somebody on the other side of the world.
I used to do that.
Yeah. Who hasn't done that? Love it. Teeing off against someone. Or there's getting deep into a topic that might be obscure and that you can learn from something and then keep going down the rabbit hole.
Let me ask you a question. Sorry, Mika. I feel like you had more to say there. Perhaps quickly, how would you go, given that you have the demands of your day job and travel to and from the day job, and it's a pretty action-heavy sort of job that you have as a project manager.
Yeah.
Your brain's probably on all the time. Do you find that you have enough time and energy to round out everything in your life in the remaining time?
Yeah, well, time's relative. And one thing that being a parent teaches you is that...
Hang on, how is time relative?
Time's totally relative. So you can look at time that you have as a block of time.
But hang on, you tell me morality's objective, but time's relative. Come on. There's 24 hours in a day. We both agree.
Yeah, there's 24 hours in a day. I'm not going to talk about some parallel universe, but there's how you're going to use those 24 hours in a day. So
yeah, this is the fun stuff.
So I suppose that's the relativity. So I don't mind getting up at 5 o'clock and going for a run, but not everyone's going to want to do that. And I haven't always liked to do that, but I do that, one, because I think it helps me stay fit. I like to try to be a runner, even though my body's not built to be a runner, and I tend to injure myself constantly.
I don't know why you do that.
I'm a masochist. But so I would try to compartmentalize my time. That's the relative thing to it. So I carve out some time in the morning to run. I carve out some time in the evening when my kids have gone to bed to read or write. And then sometimes on the weekend, carve out some time as well to do the same when I catch the train. If I'm not sleeping, I like to read. I also like to play chess. So those sort of things that when grounding is working, about taking myself out of, if let's say attention is mixes of highs and lows, like a parabola of going up and down like this. If it's more just flatlining, and I can achieve that by concentrating on something.
is flatlining something people should aspire to?
So my brain, I've got ADHD, so my brain does go up and down. You know, it can be operating at really high levels, it can be operating at really low levels, but it's not like the high levels are productive in short bursts, but it's not wholly productive over a whole day. So some sort of even keel, I would say. Flatlining invokes dead.
Sorry.
So maybe not flatlining.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying now.
Yeah, so some sort of swimming through the peaks and the valleys, something through the middle.
Yeah.
I also find music really, really helps.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Music, if my brain's a bit chaotic and I'm being procrastinating and not doing either work or engaging in, even we spoke about this earlier, you know, even if you had infinite time to do what you wanted to do, you still probably wouldn't do the thing you wanted to do because you've got infinite time. So scarcity of time can be really good as well because you're forced to compartmentalize. Oh, okay, I've got half an hour or an hour here. What am I going to do with that time?
I think that's
so sort of organising your time to do something that is out of that chaotic news cycle.
Yeah.
That's one thing that works for me. What about you? What works for you?
Oh, mate, that's good stuff. I find myself resonating with a lot of things you said on your last point there about music. Like, for example, most mornings when I ride to work, I listen to podcasts and I get revved up about the state of the world, get revved up about, like, the last month or two, for me, it's been AI, just everything.
Have you
AI.
heard of Let the Sense Commence? That's a really good podcast out there.
I have heard of it. I must give it a listen. But yeah, get revved up about that, get revved up about Ukraine, American politics. But yeah, ultimately, a lot of that doesn't change my day-to-day. I don't have much impact on it. But yeah, I find it hard to look away. But this morning, after, I had a couple of drinks last night and I just felt tired this morning. I'm like, I just need to not put that garbage in my head this morning. So I just listened to the most recent album by The Knox.
Okay, I don't know that. Who's that?
I'd say you wouldn't like him because it's it's sort of like disco flavors, like modern electric music with disco flavors.
Yeah, I like electric
Have
music.
you heard of Dragonette?
No, but I mean, I've listened to like the presets and the klaxons and
yeah, a little different to the presets. But yeah, in my mind, great music, and perhaps we can both agree.
What about like Rufus Du Sol? Is it sort of?
I like Rufus. I love Rufus Du Sol. in Flemington.
Only recently found out they're Australian.
What? I thought that the singer was like European.
They're Australian.
Wouldn't have thought.
They're definitely Australian.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Tame Impala as well. Like they have that out there Norwegian vibe, but they're not.
I think Tame Impala's just one bloke. Anyway, let's not go down this rabbit hole because we're not experts and we're going to alienate.
I think he was
audience.
a couple blokes. He's from Castlemaine, I believe.
A lot of good people come from Castlemaine. There's no doubt. But yeah, to answer your question, music's a big one for me. Like before my current corporate stint, I engage a lot in music, and it brings me great pleasure and meaning. And I guess with that groundedness, perhaps when you feel connected to what you're doing, you feel grounded. I guess.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, what you were talking about before is the sheer shitstorm that is the world. You know, I'm the same. I really enjoy global affairs, understanding about different
how many global
structures and
have you had?
How many global affairs? No, I don't get into that sort of stuff.
Sorry, carry on.
But it's very tough at the moment. Hence the reason for doing this episode. It is very tough at the moment because, as I came to you the other day and said, I'm so depressed about the world and I'm not sure what to do. And that does happen. I don't always know what to do, but yeah, trying to step away. I mean, there's other things that. One of the things that autistic kids do is that they lose sense of their own body and senses. And so when they talk about grounding, it's about like touching something, touching your fingers together or touching a surface so to feel that external sensation, or putting your feet on the ground. So that sometimes you probably won't ever see me do that, but from time to time that I'll do this. It's like stimulating. They call it stimming. So that'll just be a way just to ground yourself. So you're confining your body to its limits, and you're acknowledging that instead of just being this mess of thoughts and feelings, you're just still confined within space and time.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I'm definitely meditation curious, and I sort of go in and out of periods of meditating.
Yeah.
I say that I'd like to do more. I could meditate more, but I do find that beneficial when I find the time. Also, yeah, I've been across the ages interested in thinkers like Alan Watts and Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle's not for everyone.
I'm not familiar. Tell me about.
He's got a couple of books, A New Earth and most notably Power of Now. He got a lot of exposure through Oprah.
Right. I don't watch Oprah anymore. Not after she's up giving away cars.
Sure. But I find him very engaging. I think he's got a lot of useful things to say. Maybe a couple of things that are a little bit odd, but you don't have to pick up everything that someone's offering. And also, as you know, I'm a fan of Sam Harrison. He's a neuroscientist, but he has a meditation app, and he's pretty big on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
there's lots out there. There's lots of tools out there, but we're often our own worst enemy. Like there's an infinite number of good stuff out there in the world that you can engage with if you find the time, energy, and intent. And there's an infinite number of bad stuff you can engage with if you have the time, energy, and intent.
Completely. And I think there's something innate in everybody that want to seek out like sensation and stimuli, be it sugar or sex or violence or explosions or something like that. But you can't live that way. You can't live amongst sex and explosions your whole life.
You need to learn to duck in and out of the sex and explosions.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always, not always, but recently, I suppose, learnt to love the mundane as well. You know, there's some exciting times and it's good when things are exciting, but there's also a level of comfort in the mundane, in the boring, in things just happening and there being an order to things. I suppose I'm a reformed anarchist, and I do like there just being some order in society and some order to my day. You know, knowing what I'm going to do on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, which sounds very bleak and depressing, but it does help you keep grounded because, you know, we are here for a long time. We can't just burn out on one day. You've got to just keep going along. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. So going through each day, knowing that you'll wake up tomorrow will be a different day, that level of, I suppose, simplicity, boredom, it can be comforting.
Yeah, I think boredom can be very useful. Definitely, like within the meditation community, you hear often the idea that if you can just sit quietly and manage that and deal with it and let the experience occur as it is, you'll find your deepest insights and things will come together. I feel like that's true for me when I'm putting too much information in my brain and I'm scattered. I think I'm less useful and I'm less present. And in rare moments, like obviously it's a benefit to running and exercise. Like for me, maybe riding the bike to a degree and swimming. I find swimming very meditative because you're just completely involved in the physical activity.
Yeah.
You're not bothered. Maybe you work through some stuff emotionally when you're doing that.
Exercise is good, especially exercises that are long and repetitive and there's a little bit of pain to them.
Yeah.
Which sounds odd, but especially with long distance running. So a good run for me will be, somewhere between like an hour and a half. And
it's quite long.
It is quite long. And after a while it gets there's different levels of pain. So there's some pains that are almost curious. Think, I don't know what that is, but you're still running. So you're still putting one foot after the other. You're either keeping the same pace or regulating your pace or going a bit faster. And so there's some pains that you're curious going, that's interesting. And that usually goes away. Or there's other pains that come in when there's lactic acid where that's there and you're just accept that and you'll push on through that. And there's other pains where, like I recently got tendonitis in my knee. There's other pains that you'll stop. But if you go through that long process, and it's amazing because your body it's autonomous. Once you start running and you get into a rhythm and you stay at the same pace, then you'll just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And it's like you could almost cut your body in half, and so you really don't even know what your legs are doing. They're just
so repetitive.
You're just pumping along. Yeah, you're just like a machine, a very slow machine, but like a machine. And I do really like that. And then your brain is just free to think. And I love running outdoors through the bush, free to think, look at sounds.
You look at sounds? Mate, you're one of those special people.
Sounds. No, I can't see sounds.
Some people
hear
can.
sounds. Look at things and hear sounds.
It's okay if it all blends together. I mean,
yeah, talk to the kangaroos.
Yeah, I think some people genuinely do have those senses.
Yeah, some people can do it.
up.
Actually, the guy from Tame Impala is like that.
Okay.
And Daniel Johns from Silverchair is also like that. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
It has a name. Yeah, they can see sounds. I'm not one of them.
That's okay. So how do you feel you're going in the game of trying to stay grounded? Would you say you're winning?
On an average score, yeah, I would say.
Or are you where you'd like to be?
At the moment, yeah, I think I'm where I'd like to be. In the past, with even last week, I felt probably depressed, and that was at the weight of the world, not really the weight of my world, but the weight of the collective world of just the suffering and the chaos that's going on in the world. And I felt that weighed down on me, and that was after a night of doom scrolling, of looking at what's going on in Gaza and Trump and Ukraine and all this geopolitical cacophony. There's nothing I can do about that. That I have no power or control to influence any of that. I mean, I can definitely feel for the people involved, but it's not worth me expending my sanity or my centre for that. So moving away from that, living in your own world, staying local, as in my own space, my family, my colleagues.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. Yeah. Yeah, what about you? How you going?
Good question, Mick. I think probably similar to yourself, I would say some days I feel more grounded, some days less grounded. So, yes, some days I can be more bothered, some days I can be less bothered. I think life is like, I don't know, a bunch of spinning plates or something, and or a bunch of pillars. And I think if you do everything that you should do, you feel pretty good. Like, you get your sleep, you eat good, you calm down, you meditate for 10 minutes in the morning, you do your exercise, you read a book, you'll be okay.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I know you're your own worst enemy. That's a problem.
Completely. I know the best thing for me will be tomorrow night is finish work, spend time with the family, relax, have a good meal, go to bed. What I'll probably do is I'll probably work too late, and then I'll be frustrated, and then I'll drink a bottle of wine, and then I'll be hungover on Saturday. So there's always that demon there saying, go on, do that thing. But I know that it may not end well. So yeah, we're totally our own worst enemies.
Yeah, that's another interesting topic. It kind of dovetails into this. How do you stay on top of your shadow side? For example, yesterday evening I had 2 beers. I didn't intend to have 2 beers earlier in the day, but then my friend was keen for a beer, and it's well, I could have a beer.
Yeah. And it's always as I was saying before, I think we're wired. There's something primal in us. Do that exciting thing. Press the red button. Do that. You know that it's going to not always end badly. I'm not a wowser. You can have whatever drinks as long as you're not an alcoholic and causing harm to people and yourself.
It depends. It kind of touches on moral realism again, but there's perhaps a health perspective whereby you really shouldn't be drinking alcohol. You can be very healthy with drinking 0 standard drinks in your entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, but
your liver doesn't need it.
sure. But then also there's no need to tell people what to do. I think live and let live as long as you're not hurting somebody. That would be another way to really stress yourself out, is to be obsessed with how other people are living their lives.
Yep.
You know, being that curtain twitcher of seeing what the neighbours are doing. There's no solace in that.
Yeah.
Is always trying to compare yourself to other people. I suppose that's another thing. I was just talking about that. Just trying to be happy in yourself and not hate yourself either. Like,
yeah, even if you're a piece of shit, you still...
try not to be a piece of shit. But
try not to, but let's say you are, because some people are.
Yeah.
Sometimes in your life, I mean, definitely times in my life.
Oh, definitely. I've been... Well, I suppose let's not say there are people are not pieces of shit.
Sure. But sometimes
people
you behave
act
like a piece of shit.
So let's not say there are bad people, or there are bad people. Let's say that people doing bad things. And so if you do something, as long as it's not fucking horrific, but if you do something bad, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah,
just
acknowledge it and try and do better.
Love yourself.
Sure.
Bit of self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah, just accept who you are. Accept all your faults, your failings. You know, you can do this, you can't do this. I'm never going to be a super fast runner. But then there's other things that I'm very happy about. So just accepting yourself. And I think it takes a long time. I would personally think that it took a while to learn just to not give too many fucks about what other people think, and then just accept who I am. I'm not the greatest, smartest, muscliest, best person.
You're good enough.
I'm good enough. I've accepted myself. So I think that's definitely an important thing for grounding. Not getting hung up on people's opinions that don't matter. Because everyone's got opinions. And sometimes...
I wrote a song about that, just so you know.
Did you write a song? Can you sing it for us?
I won't sing it right now. I'll put the link in the description.
Yeah, put the link in the description. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
People having opinions, or...
People having opinions and your song.
Yeah.
And then not caring about it.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Just a couple of years ago when I wrote the song, I thought the concept of having opinions was pretty funny because we often get really, really attached to our opinions.
I've heard this song. It's funny.
Well, thank you, Mick.
Yeah.
You're one of two people who've heard it. Because we get really attached to our opinions and we exclude other people from our life because they have different opinions.
Yeah.
Religion comes into it.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so many opinions out there. And how do people come across their opinions? Because really, if we think about it, people don't have very rigorous methodologies for forming opinions. It's mostly just...
And we could probably think that the strongest opinions are formed with the least information. They always say about the problem with the super smart people, the scientific community, is they never have strong opinions because they know everything is so fluid and relative.
It's hard to know anything for certain. There are some things you can know for certain, but yeah, I do think more intelligent people are more careful with what they claim to know to be true.
Yeah, so the zealots on either the right or the left, they'll be fixed in their positions, but if you were to ask them to unpack why it is they think that or how they got there, that would probably all fall apart. But if you ask someone who was super intelligent and highly informed on a topic, they would say, I think it's this way, but I'm open to being wrong as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm always very careful about people that claim things with absolute certainty.
Yeah.
That are hard to know.
It probably also helps to, instead of taking offense about what someone has said, one, think, well, maybe I was being a dick, like take it as feedback.
Very mature.
That's being helpful.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is thinking, okay, so if there's nothing valuable in that and I wasn't being a dick, then perhaps something's going on in that person's life. And so I probably don't need to judge them for that.
What's going on in Putin's private life that's causing him to invade Ukraine?
I mean, it's a Freudian nightmare, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't know.
What's in his private life?
Yeah, I'm insinuating that he's having a
Well, let's talk. We'll take an extreme and we'll think how he could ground himself,
and
we'll give him some advice.
We'll very gently gesticulate
give him some
as well,
advice.
because too vigorous gesticulation will
Okay. If I just keep
get in the way of
caressing
the
the
mic.
table, all
yeah,
right.
just a gentle caressing.
Just caress. Okay. So, I mean, well, what we know about him, which is not a lot, and some of it could be wrong, but we do know that he was a KGB agent from a young age into his adulthood. So he would have grown up in a world that valued
Control,
but deception, misinformation, and power.
Yeah.
He also lived through the fall of the USSR. So many people have said that he harks, like a lot of dictators, hark back to a nostalgic time. So bringing it back to the topic today.
Sorry, mate. That was naughty of me. Carry on.
No, it's good. I think we are getting there because we're imagining someone else and we're giving him advice.
Yeah, like if you had more hugs as a child, perhaps a more normal childhood, and a sports group or something. We did a lot of judo.
He wrestled bears,
Wrestled bears,
rode bears.
caught salmon. He did everything outdoors.
Yeah.
But yeah, could he have been treated differently and not become a monster? We don't know. Not
Maybe,
relevant.
yeah. Well, it is relevant. I think it's relevant in some way. If you could take, like, say for us, if we walked down the path of every negative influence we took on board and then made that part of our personality, then, we could become a dictator if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think this episode is about trying to do or not do. There is no try. That's what Yoda would say. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some truth in that too.
But I mean, that's not a great example. And I'll tell you why. Because he's probably the smallest cohort in the world, because if he only has a straight line between thought and action, then he doesn't have all this internal monologue and self-criticism.
I'm sure he has an internal monologue and self-criticism. Most people do. Some people claim not to have an internal monologue, which I find interesting, and I probably think they're liars.
I think it's also problematic.
Yeah, but I'm not
If you
sure.
don't have an internal critic saying, don't light fire to that building.
Well, apparently...
Or if you had one that did say that would also
the
be
great
problematic, right?
masters of Buddhism and other meditative traditions may claim to not have
You're
an internal...
gesticulating now.
I am, but I'm doing it
In a controlled
gently.
fashion. Okay.
Well, I hope I am.
Okay.
We'll
find
listen.
out. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I offended you. I didn't mean to. But yeah, some people... I definitely aspire to have a quieter mind. My mind's out of control.
Yeah, that's definitely a concept of quietening your mind. Or there's another concept of whatever your thoughts are, hearing your thoughts, acknowledging your thoughts, not judgment. You might think, that's odd, and then let it go.
Yeah, there's a million analogies that meditative teachers use on that, like treat it as objects floating down a river, your
That's
thoughts, all
it.
that stuff.
Put your negative thoughts.
On
My
a
wife
leaf.
is a psychologist, so
Yeah.
I know a lot of these. You put
Yeah.
negative thoughts on a leaf, and then the leaf goes down the stream.
Yeah, and that can be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to, and I think this is something that young people really have to go through, back to how do you ground yourself in a world where everyone has something to say? Say in the schoolyard, or it's very competitive. What about you? How was your schooling?
Schooling, yeah, that's an interesting one. You definitely develop as a person. Yeah, I look back at that time and I think of it as overwhelmingly a good time. Maybe rose-coloured glasses a bit, but I think I had a pretty good crew of people that I went to school with.
Yeah.
I had some really good teachers, so I think I had a pretty good opportunity to learn and to grow as a human. It's a wonderful social petri dish to sort of run around and figure out how to interact with people. And maybe I got 80% of the way there,
It couldn't have all been good. Didn't people call you?
Oh, mate, all the bad stuff
They
happened.
called you rich. They must have called you dick.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
And I think if we wind the clock back, the younger I was, the more I carried my opinions tightly and my conception of myself as tough or anything else. Tough, intelligent, but slowly I'm learning to let go of some of those concepts. So my burden over time is probably becoming lighter as an individual, because at the end of the day, we don't live that long. We're all people. You try and learn. You try and be fair. Sometimes you get it wrong. It doesn't really matter. I really like, and I know you're a fan of Brené Brown, the concept of if someone's not in the arena shedding blood, don't worry about what they have to say. So it's important to acknowledge there are people that you'll encounter that will be mean and unhelpful, and they may not be that useful. If a lot of people close to you give you the same feedback and you know they care about you, perhaps you should listen. I've been really bad at that.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. Respect the people, if you've friends and family who you care about, with that small circle of saying, look, you're being a dick. It's probably a good thing to listen and say, okay, I probably am being a dick, and if there are things that I could stop doing, and if it's systemic, if there's work I have to do on myself. But I think love Brené Brown, and it also touches on to a theory that Nietzsche had as well, is that hard times are the best thing for people.
Man, that's a wonderful one. I know you're a little bit of a boxing fan and an occasional MMA fan. Alexander Volkanovski, the current UFC featherweight champion, he recently, in the lead up to one of his fights, coined the phrase "adversity is a privilege," which is another take on the same concept. But but he really lives that, and it's a powerful motivator.
Yeah, I think life's not supposed to be easy. It's, if we think of our existence in recent history to people's lives where it was normal to not have running water, it was normal to shit in the toilet in the dark outside and not have plentiful food and not have good healthcare, and all this stuff was quite normal. So we quite quickly live in a privileged society, even if we don't have as much as other people. So when things are hard, that's totally fine. It must be something normal or something good for us if we've gone through adversity, because then we can learn from it and we can be successful. I don't think anyone who's been successful or is happy in themselves ever did that by accident. I think they had to go through things to get there. So the people that haven't had to go through, you often see this in, say you've got a successful business person or sports person or artist, and then their children who grew up in affluence. There's a term that some people say, affluenza. So
there's a book about it. I've read that like 10 years ago.
Yeah, so they've never had to struggle through anything. So they grow up in this warped world where everything's given to them. They don't have to struggle. And then when they're put out on their own, like baby birds out of the nest, then life becomes hard. And they have also a skewed view of morality in society, that they probably think that it's okay to objectify people. It's probably okay to use people because that's what they see.
Yep.
And whether or not the parents are good role models, I don't know. But they probably didn't have the healthy dose of diversity.
Yeah.
So back to the grounding thing. If your life is difficult and your day is tough, to think, life's not supposed to be easy.
Mick, I think that's an excellent closing statement.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed this conversation.
This was good. I hope it was a good palate cleanser to everyone in the world, and hopefully it helped ground them.
Until next time.
Thanks.